Tanner, we got a little juice right here.
Yeah,
we got a little juice right here, right?
I love juice.
Jaden Daniels, like that's the guy.
Yeah.
If he goes, we go. I'm excited to see what he's doing every day.
Sean, don't come in here messing up our thing.
We had a good flow. We have a fun show for you this week, Commanders family. That's right, training camp is here. We'll break down the off-season timeline that brought us to training camp 2024. We have a best of training camp field pass with Logan and the guys, and our running back, Brian Robinson Jr., pulls up on the show.
It's Smoke Smack time.
Day one, baby.
Commanders family, it all starts now. Commanders family, we got a full crew here for you today. Brian Coble Jr. here with Santana Moss, Fred Smoot, London Fletcher, Sean Springs, and Logan Paulson. And we only pull up like this for training camp day one. Fellas, how y'all feeling?
Feel good.
Yeah.
Football season, baby. Can you smell it?
Oh, we can.
Them pads ain't on yet. Them pads ain't come out.
Fred was just out there practicing.
This is what training camp looks like.
London, a couple weeks ago on Command Center when you pulled up, bro, you talked about how the grass just feels, it just smells different out here, man. What are these players going through day one?
They're going through the same type of anxiety, and because you know it's real now.
Yeah.
During the offseason, you're going through your OTAs, your mini camps and all that, and that's still kind of relaxed. But when training camp eventually starts, you know it's a different type of mentality, different type of atmosphere. The pressure's on. You know you can have a bad practice and get cut. So the intensity, the anxiety, it's on a high level now.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's like veteran guys that's on the team with a new team and all these new players. They get a chance to set their identity and help set their Bobby Wagner, Austin Eckler, guys like that, help set their identity with the team and work on the little things and get them going like we talked about earlier. Get them going when the team is in the lull.
One of the things about, this day, I always dreaded getting here.
Yeah.
But once it starts, once that whistle starts and I'm out there on that grass, okay, I put everything behind me because it's hard to get away from home when you was having so much fun, but you got work to do. So, I love to get here. I dreaded getting here, but once I got going, it was all down here from there.
I think we're all excited, fellas. We're all excited to be here. But before we talk training camp, got to show some love to our Command Center podcast crew. Y'all are up for a People's Choice Award. I'm going to let the host, Logan Paulson, take it away now.
Yeah, obviously super excited about the podcast. Fred Santana doing a great job providing excellent analysis. And we were selected one of 10 podcasts, national podcasts, to be in this list. And now the fans get to decide. So the link to vote for our podcast is on the screen right now. Make sure you check it out because we can win this thing with your help. So let's make that happen.
We need y'all to vote.
Vote, please.
We love that. And we have Emmy-nominated Players Club on here as well. Sean Springs will be joining you guys on Players Club.
Hey, listen, hold on. Sean, don't come in here messing up our thing.
We had a good flow. So we gonna welcome you to the seat, but don't slow it down. Pass it out.
I'm sure Sean is nothing but a value add. We have a lot to get into about this training camp. However, we do not get here without a ridiculous offseason. So you know what? Let's check out the timeline real quick before we get into all things training camp. Guys, so much has happened in the offseason that's culminated to this moment right here. It's time for training camp. But let's back up a little bit and walk our fans through a timeline of the 2024 offseason. In January, Adam Peters was hired. In February, Dan Quinn and the rest of the coaching staff was hired, as well as the NFL Combine. Then in March, we killed it in free agency. And then in April was the NFL Draft, where we got Jaden Daniels. Then May and June, rookie minicamp, OTAs, and then of course now we're at training camp. Now that we've broken down the major moves the Commanders made this offseason, it's time to get into training camp. So, fellas, you've seen that timeline, but let's really dive in. Tanner, I'm going to start with you. January, hired Adam Peters, man. That kind of set the tone for everything.
It set the tone. I think it was so pivotal. I think, from the years before, that's one of the things that everyone said we needed. That general manager, that true general manager that can go out there and do some of the grind or the grit about getting this team together. So I think when you look at the things that he put in place, bringing the coaching staff in, going out there getting some pivotal players in the free agency and draft, and then now you're just basically setting this franchise up to have a chance to compete. So I think that was very pivotal and critical.
It was definitely the first step to a very, very busy February. Logan, I'm going to give this to you because you were at the Combine. You got to interact with head coach Dan Quinn, the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. What was February like for you?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, again, those coaching hires were kind of the next step, right? Obviously, the GM is the guy. That's the building block. But then the guys that are going to kind of build that culture for you, Dan Quinn, Cliff Kingsbury, Joe Witt Jr., and they just did such a great job. I remember doing interviews with them and just being so impressed from day one. one.
Yeah.
Dan, Cliff, all those guys, and just the right kind of people, and then the right kind of position hires, and then you can see them at the combine, see them working with Adam Peters, and identifying talent that's going to be part of this moving forward. They talk about that C on the chest. That process all started in February.
And Logan, you talk about those interviews we had with them. All of them talked about the type of player they wanted to bring here, that dog-ass mentality. Yeah. So now we move to March. The free agency frenzy begins, and we bring in all of these guys. London Fletcher, you were a big-name free agent at one point. How did you feel seeing all these big names come in, and how excited are you?
Well, I love the approach they took to free agency. Even though we had, some of the highest salary cap space in the National Football League, we didn't go out and just spend reckless. We were very judicious on who we targeted doing free agency. Went out and addressed some positions of need. Got the offensive line, kind of solidified. Going out and get Tyler Biotish, Nick Allegretti, those guys. But then love them addressing the linebacker position. Oh man, Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner, adding to those guys leadership and playmakers and doing those types of things. Going out and get Dorrance Armstrong, guys that Dan Quinn was familiar with, and also guys that he know can make plays, and really setting the culture and identity of this football team.
Really some game changers coming in on free agency, right? And then Sean, you a game changer coming in for Players Club. So I'm gonna give this I'm gonna give this to you. What free agent were you most excited about, or even surprised about, that we were able to bring in?
On both sides of the ball, I really like Louvu. A lot of people don't know who he is with Carolina, but when you talk about a dude, he is that dude. He is that dude. When he walks out on the field, he sets the tone. You're talking about addressing the linebacker position, athletic, big, physical on the defense side of the ball, alongside Bobby Wagner, who's smart and intelligent, and get him lined up and ready to go. But he's a dude. On the offense side of the ball, Austin Eckler. I think people don't understand how important having a third down back as an outlet, a guy who's been killing in the league since he's been in the league. A little bit under the radar for those on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, everybody knows how much work he's put in.
And Fred, last but not least, April. The draft. Everybody was looking at that draft because it's Adam Peters' first time. It's Dan Quinn's first time, and we got to see them collaborate. This is a big day for them. Day one of training camp. What advice would you give this rookie class as a whole?
Just understanding why they drafted you. You got to realize, Jaden Daniels, come on, you're about to be the face of this franchise. Then you come in with a McCaffrey, a guy that's going to grow with him. Then you got a Mike Sandersteele, who basically Nick Saban said pound for pound was the best player in the draft. And you get a guy like Coleman. So you see these guys where they addressed every position. They understood the mission, what the mission was. And this is the true identity of this team. This is the first time Adam Peters actually got a chance, besides free agency, to say this is the identity of the team. This is the guys I want. All of these guys are former team captains. All of these guys led their team. That's telling you what he wants, what he likes, and what he needs when it comes from these rookies.
Fellas, a walk down memory lane with you guys. Doesn't get better than that. Appreciate y'all insight.
There's a lot that we want to get accomplished regarding identity, over the next 6 weeks to go. And that type of work and championship standards and everything that we do, knowing that it'll be challenging and it'll be tough and demanding, but it's also going to be a blast and we're going to have a great time. So those two things can go together. Their connection will be what makes it. It's not an offense or a defense or a special teams. We're one group. We compete hard with one another, but at the end of it, we're all competing for the same team. And so always remembering that too.
It's time for your can't miss moment presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now, training camp is sold out, but if you didn't get your tickets, don't worry. We have you covered. We are going live from training camp on July 29th, August 6th, August 12th, and August 21st. Live looks of practice, analysis, player interviews, Major Tutty. What more could you ask for? Look out for our live stream of training camp 2024 on the Commanders YouTube page. The energy is going to be high. Now that you know where to find us, let's send it down to the guys on the field.
I think one group in particular where that veteran presence is extremely important is with the quarterback, with Marcus Mariota. You talk about this all the time, Fred. Having a guy who's been there, has walked this path before. How important is that for our guy, Jaden Daniels?
It's almost like a clone, right? Think about this. Marcus Mariota, number 2 pick. Our quarterback, number 2 pick. Our quarterback, both of them running quarterbacks. They have to learn how to throw in the slide. So I think he can just tell him, this is how you have longevity. This is how you become the player you want to be.
I mean, Tanner, we got a little juice right here.
Yeah,
we got a little juice right here, right?
I love juice.
And this is something they brought during the mini camp, the OTA, and just guys running through bags, getting excited. I love the coaches, man, because again, like there's days where you don't feel like coming out. And when you see your coach kind of getting after it a little bit, it's like, I got to bring it today. You know what I'm saying?
Well, this is
DQ got that.
No. This is adrenaline mixed with just I want it. Like I want to know who wants it. Who wants to be here today?
Yeah.
That's what I love about practice. I just love practice because I want to be here today. First day of training camp, you got to love it.
There's no false chatter going on right now.
There ain't no fake chatter going on over there.
You got to bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about Marcus Mariota, Tanny. Catch up.
No, just talking about what Fred basically saying, you know, this staff said, let's go get a guy that's going to be, you know, just like the guy we're bringing in.
Yeah.
Now he can actually see, okay, this guy's doing this and that because this is what I have in my makeup. Instead of having a guy here that say, oh, he's a pocket passer, now I'm trying to emulate what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's just great by having a guy in here that kind of resembles what Jayden can be and what he was once before when he came in.
Yeah, and I can't imagine what the expectations are for a guy like that. You see him over there throwing to that net, and the one thing I love about him, footwork, excellent release, but Tanner, you were a first-round draft pick. Fred, second-round draft pick. Talk about the expectations that he might be going through and what the fans can expect from him during this training camp.
Well, here go the great thing about him. I think as a quarterback that's been to Arizona State, a quarterback that's been to LSU, a quarterback that's been there and done that, a guy that won the Heisman, he's used to the lights being on him. He understands, but this is what really makes me feel good about him. He's just him. Yeah. He don't try to be more than he is. He just, I'm here to play football. And what he said, I think about a month ago, I haven't earned anything yet. I'm just here trying to understand what my job is and help this team to win. I think that's everything of his makeup and what he's going to be.
You can't appreciate that more than what, I mean, we're just talking about it.
Yeah.
But I remember being here when you brought the RG3 in.
Yeah.
That was a circus. When
Yes.
I said circus, it was a circus from the media. It was a circus on the field.
Yeah.
It was just, it was a difference.
Yeah.
And I'm not out there between the lines with this guy, but I can just sense his aura.
Yeah.
He's calm, collective, humble. He understands it's a job to be done.
Yep.
I'm not going to make this thing more than what it is. I'm already the second,
Pick.
overall pick.
Yep.
Not going to make it more than what it is, but I have a job to do, and I want to do that first.
Yeah, and Dan talked today a lot about in his press conference of red zone. They're doing a lot of red zone today, and I think he brought up a great point. They're doing it to protect the receiver's hamstrings.
Nice.
Keep those high speed.
Yeah.
High speed yardage down, right? But I think red zone is also a tough day to start for the quarterback.
It is.
Because the windows are tight. Fred, could you talk about defensively?
I'm going to say, every throw has to be anticipated, one. You got tight windows, two. And a tenth of a second late is an interception or a tip ball. Tip balls are interceptions.
Yeah.
It is what you need to be great at. Any quarterback can throw the ball from 50 to 50. But it takes a special quarterback to be good inside that red zone because that red zone don't give you a chance to process. You have to know before the snap. Pre-snap is everything in the red zone. I like the fact that coach is challenging them. Say, you know what? Let's do the hard part first.
Yeah.
And we'll do the easy part second.
I mean, you said you hit it dead on. I think one of the things you look at it from a coach's standpoint, saying, okay, has no room to scramble.
Yeah.
He has no room to sit there and say you're going to have these guys being able to, have more field to, get open with.
Yeah.
Now make the right pass.
Yeah.
Make the right throw.
Throw it away.
Or throw it away.
Yeah.
So it's great to have a staff that say, hey, let's go ahead and put him in the situation now. So when we move, as far as we go back, now he can say, okay, I can play better football because I had to do it early and out the gate.
Yeah, and I think if there's one area that he struggled with a little bit in the offseason, it was red zone because of those tight windows, because of those opportunities. So, again, it would be really cool to see him come out today. Tana, as a veteran receiver, is there anything that Terry could say to him in this red zone period that kind of would help him out, you think? Or am I just pulling at straws there?
Well, Terry can say, throw me the ball.
And throw it now.
He gonna get open.
Throw it now.
No, but one of the things he could just tell him, man, just make the right choice. Make the right decision. That's one of the things that I always care. I care less about getting the ball when it was someone else's open.
But that's why you're you though, because you had that maturity to be like, hey, make the decision. You know what I'm saying?
Right decision. And I think right now, this is one of those things. Like you said, if it was a period that we saw struggle, let's get to it now. Let's go on out here and try to tighten up some of those things that we saw earlier in the OTAs and the mini camp, so that we're gonna have to worry about going through this later on in camp.
Great stuff, fellas. Preseason is right around the corner. Here's a look at our preseason schedule. Saturday, August 10th, we are in New York taking on the Jets at noon. Shout out to WUSA 9, who will be hosting that game. Saturday, August 17th, this will also be on WUSA 9. We will be in South Beach, that's right, taking on the Miami Dolphins at 7 p.m. Then Sunday, August 25th, we are at home, back at the crib at Commanders Field, taking on the New England Patriots. That'll be on primetime, NBC at 8 p.m. It's time for Best Seat in the House, presented by SeatGeek, your ticket to great Commander seats. What's good, Commanders family? Brian Coble Jr. here of day one of training camp. And I got our lead back, Brian Robinson Jr. here, man. How you feeling, brother?
Good, man.
Good, man. It's good to have you. It was crazy, man, because my first day at the job here last year, I sat down with you and we did an interview, man. But you're in a very different spot now than you were back then, man.
Right.
So how's it feel, man, year 3 coming out here on this field?
I mean, it feels great, man. As everybody know, over the offseason, all the changes happened.
Yeah.
Just know, like, it's impacted everyone, including myself, around this building, tremendously. The energy is exciting. We're extremely excited about the new staff and, the new players and all the newcomers to just come and just help us, be a better team. So, it's a lot to be excited for, as a player and, for the fans, just ready for all that, come full circle.
Yeah, you talk about that new energy, man. How has that impacted the players within the locker room?
I think people just, have a brighter energy about themselves and just willingness to just, come here and, be a pro every day, do their jobs, effectively and, try to impact the team, the best way they can, and, just try to get better every day. I feel like, overall the team has, bought in to, what we're trying to build here. And, guys come in, with that mindset, like, we're just gonna come in, we're gonna grind, we're gonna work, obviously we're trying to win some games this year.
Yeah, for sure. And then you got Dan Quinn. He's a big part of setting that tone, man. What have those conversations been like with your new head coach? Because on our end, when we've talked to Quinn, he's been very, very excited about getting to coach you.
Right. He's been very open, blunt. He's been real with me. I appreciate that. The conversation we had, it's genuine. I could tell, he wants the best for me. He wants me to, be my best. And I feel like, he'll do everything in his power to, make sure that, I'm getting the production that I need.
And that falls under Cliff Kingsbury as well. Cliff Kingsbury is known for the type of offenses he runs, man, and the way that he gets the most out of not only quarterbacks, but running backs too. Man, I see you start to smile a little when we talk about him.
Cliff, he has great energy, as an offense coordinator. He's very personable, I think he's a great players coach, somebody you can, just rap with, just come and, chop it up with, tell him, how you feel about, what you see and your ideas and your thoughts, and, he's gonna he's gonna listen to you and he's gonna talk to you and he's gonna be genuine with you. So I appreciate the relationship that we all building, and it's just gonna get better and better.
And when we talked last season, you talked about how last season for you was a prove year because rookie season didn't go the way I think any of us planned, right? You had some trials and tribulations. Now we're in year 3. What year is it for you now after the year you had last year?
I still gotta prove it, man.
Yeah.
Every year I feel like you gotta prove it. If it's taking another step in your game, you just gotta prove it, over and over again. So I just want to continue to show people, what I'm capable of doing, all around, as an all-purpose back. I was able to show, some catches and hands last year. I feel like that's going to continue to just, keep going up. The carries, the yards, the catches, the touchdowns. I feel like everything's just going to continue to, take that next step, overall.
Now, if you liked our interview, we have a lot more content for you, Commanders family. Jenks and Fred get loud every Tuesday with talk of training camp and the latest in pop culture. Be sure to check out the Get Loud podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And while you're at it, check out the Command Center podcast with Santana Moss, Logan Paulson, and Fred Smoot. You can expect training camp previews, breakdowns, and a lot of great stories from some great legends. The Command Center podcast airs every Wednesday. And we can't forget Command Center. We'll talk training camp highlights, storylines, and film breakdowns. Command Center comes out every Thursday on YouTube and Saturday evening on WUSA 9. Fellas, day one has been a lot of fun, but before we wrap up, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of things we want to see. So I want to hear from each of you guys what position group you're most excited to see throughout training camp. Tan, I'm going to start with you.
I'm pretty sure you're going to start with me, and it's the obvious position. It's the wide receiver. I think the elephant in the room and on the wall, because it's a big elephant. Who's going to be that third down wide receiver? Who's going to be the guy? I mean, we know about Terry. We know how Terry has been playing the last 5 years. Now you're going into the 6th season. We're trying to see that rookie year Dotson, and now who's going to be the other guy? It's going to be Diami. It's going to be, a McCaffrey. It's going to be one of the young guys, Jack Saint. I mean, I think that room has a lot of star power in there, and it's just going to be who's going to be that guy that rises to the challenge.
Yep. And we're going to talk DBs. All right, we go from a wide receiver to a corner because there's only one corner up here, right? This is what it's about. Like when you talk about the cornerback position, let's be honest. When you talk about Witt and defensive identity, no matter if he was in Green Bay, Seattle, or Dallas, the DBs make the plays on that thing. So is it going to be Forbes? Is it going to be Davis? Is it going to be St. Juice? Is it going to be any of these guys? Mike Sanders still. Who's going to step up and be that lead dog? And I think that's what all us are waiting to see. Yeah. Where's Quan Moore going to be? Is he going to be a free safety? Is he going to be a nickel? It's a lot of depth there. Somebody's going to have to stick out there and be that lead dog.
You know, I love to see my linebackers, but I'm going to focus on the offensive side of the ball. And you got to look at the offensive line. Yeah. Yep. That was a spot that needed to be addressed. They went out, they signed 2 guys in free agency. They drafted Brandon Coleman in the draft. So, especially the tackle position. Who's going to emerge as the starting left tackle? Is Wiley going to be able to hold up at the right tackle position? It's the elephant in the room, so to speak. You have to win in the trenches, and particularly at the offensive line spot.
And I think for me, to piggyback off Smoot, don't leave out the safeties, baby. D. Forrest is back. In London, we talked about him, how physical player and how he raced a lot of things. I'm excited to see what Jeremy Chin brings to a name that kind of comes to mind when I think about Jeremy Chin is Cam Chancellor. 6'3", big physical guy in that defense. Him and some of the young players and how everybody is used, more so was what I'm excited to see, how everybody plays together.
Gotcha.
I mean, I'm surprised you guys didn't mention this. So you're not excited about quarterback? We're not worried about that? We're not worried. I mean, come on, man. We're not supposed to be football people. We're supposed to be excited about the quarterback. Obviously, number 2 overall, Jaden Daniels, that's the guy. If he goes, we go. I'm excited to see what he's doing every day through OTA's minicamp. Showed why he's such a good football player. But, man, I'm disappointed in all of you.
It's hard to complete a pass if you're under pressure, though. That's why I say
I'm just saying, man. I'm surprised, man.
You know, the fat boy. Let's get him. You got to protect your quarterback.
Fellas, we can all agree there's a lot to be excited about. Before we go, we have to show love to our wide receiver, Terry McLaurin, for making the NFL's top 100 list. He's the only one we've heard so far. There's still more to be done, but shout out to Terry McLaurin. Now, if you love what you see, make sure you tune in Monday. We'll be live again from training camp. If you missed yesterday's show, we will be live again, so make sure you tune in. That is the 29th on Monday. Until then, Commanders family, the full crew, we out. Peace.